Hey there, so today I want to return to that wonderful world of litigation. That's right, we are returning to anime, to voice actors, and to our old pal, Jamie Marchi, as Jamie Marchi finally enters the actual legal fray. Not playing Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, but no, actually showing up for the litigation. Now, if you don't know anything about this, I always feel that you need to mention this beforehand. Make sure that you look up what's transpired with Vic Mignogna. Why? Because not only is this stuff entertaining, but you finally see people getting their just desserts, as it were. Them being challenged when it comes to 280 character culture, wherein people thought that accusation was substantiation. And well, they always said that you didn't actually need a court of law in that. The court of law, that's something we can bypass while we burn someone down. This stuff, it started in January. Vic Mignogna actually tried to calm it down as people burned down his life and his reputation. He tried to take the high road, but you can't take the high road with people that are willing to set you on fire. It simply does not work that way. So finally, we see people getting this case here, and it's been interesting to look at. I'm going to show you a couple of things from the original filing while we go through this portion, but Jamie's been a lot of fun to watch in this whole endeavor because Jamie is the hardest person to serve in it. In fact, for the longest time, it looked like Jamie Marchi was trying to dodge. You know, she had 5 attempts, one of them with someone actually looking through the blinds, not answering the door, and so many different things that look like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. After, there was a substitute service method wherein people locked a plastic bag with a summons on it saying, hey, you need to answer to this. She started denying it online because that's the face of it. That's exactly what you're going to do when you want to put your best foot forward. You want to go out and you want to pretend that everything's fine. Put on that brave face because your world, it couldn't come crashing down so easily. Now we find out that we actually do have someone in the courtroom, and this is their answer here. So what you get, of course, is general denial. Everything that they said, it infringes on all my rights. I didn't say anything with the intent to harm anybody. No, everything that I did out there, I did because, well, look at the other people saying these things. I did it, well, because, of course, other people have said it before me. Defendant generally denies each and every, all in singular, the material allegations contained in the plaintiff's original petition and any amendments and or supplements thereto, and being allegations of fact, demands that the plaintiff be required to prove such allegations by the requisite standard of proof, if the plaintiff can do so. Wait a minute. So we need proof of something when people say that it's so. That really flies in the face of what these people have done for so long, don't you think? I thought this was listen and believe, where anyone could say anything. And well, once you say it, that makes it so. I didn't realize that we had standards to this game. But I guess when these people actually have to look this in the eye and say, yeah, this is what I'm accountable for, I guess we now need standards. We now need burden of proof, because otherwise, it's an unfair game. Now, what they were talking about here, too, this is the original filing. You have, of course, statements of fact that Jamie and Monica were both voice actors. They had been working for Funimation. And you had, after the release of Dragon Ball Super Broly, you had these folks liking and retweeting brigaders that were trying to destroy Vic Mignogna's life. You can see them initiate a hashtag, #KickVic. They link up with other people out there. And as you go through this, it is quite insane to look at the details and to look at the fallout. The fallout from defendants' action was swift. You see the places canceling. You see all of the impact. You see the termination because of a quote-unquote investigation. And you see how that continues forward. You see all of these people doing this together, too. And they're making statements like this. Yes, I want his head. I want his balls. I want him to feel an ounce of the pain he's caused others and then effing choke on it. I want you to take his D out of your ears so you can actually hear reality. But that's just me. Also, in other videos, I've shown after the fact that they understand that they've done damages. They go out, and again, this is about liking and retweeting. Well, Jamie is liking and retweeting things that say, even if Monica loses in court, Monica, she'll keep going to more and more conventions, and Vic Mignogna, he'll go to less and less. Monica basically ended him. Jamie ended him. They are admitting that. And you can see here, she actually puts out something after the fact with that too, about him pulling hair and on, and saying that Vic is a predator. But of course, that, it didn't need any type of proof, because plaintiff being required to prove such allegations, that doesn't exist in the courtroom of Twitter. So then, affirmative defensive. Strictly in the alternative, and by the way of affirmative defense, defendant asserts a qualified privilege to any alleged statement made at the basis of plaintiff's claim, including but not limited to the fact that any matters allegedly addressed were of public and or private importance, were made in good faith and without malice on a subject in which the defendant and any recipient had an interest or duty. So calling for the guy's equipment to be removed, yes, that was all done in good faith because the person, they were driven to it. They were compelled. They had a duty to answer this kind of stuff. They had to because of the best interest of people out there that, of course, were saying they had their hair pulled a decade ago. I mean, isn't that something? Isn't that something indeed? Number 3, strictly in the alternative, and by the way of affirmative defense, defendant asserts that she committed no act and or omission which would justify any claims for punitive damages. Basically, I did nothing wrong. Defendant would show that plaintiff's claims for damages are in violation of the rights under the 1st, 5th, 8th, and 14th Amendment of the Constitution under Sections 3, 8, and 19 of the Texas Constitution, in which claims are arbitrary, unreasonable, excessive, and in violation of defendant's rights to due process, law, and equal protection under the law. Defendant further submits that due process requires any such claims for punitive damage to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt under the 6th Amendment of the United States. Additionally, the assessment of damages, a remedy that is essentially criminal in nature without safeguards greater than those afforded by the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure and the law of this state, constitute the infliction of criminal penalty without the necessary safeguards guaranteed in the 1st, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution. Defendant would assert all limitations and applications of Chapter 41 of the Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code. Now, what's really interesting about this is everything that she did. Again, she did it because she had a duty to. She was calling for people to come forward, for minors to come forward, because she said, hey, what I said, it doesn't carry weight under the law anymore. But if we can just get a minor to come out and say these things, then we can bury this guy. That's the kind of stuff that we have seen that is supposedly out there, that is protected by free speech. It's quite amazing that what you've seen here, the damage is done. These folks, they say, hey, I'm within my rights to do that. If you're within your rights to do all of that, it's become a very interesting, very frightening world. Then, of course, we tie all of this up here. We have the signature. And, of course, you get to see exactly who is the attorney for Jamie Marchi. So we finally have a name to put with all of this as well. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see it all play out. Now, what's really interesting about this, too, is the way that these folks reacted to the idea that someone might go out and say that they did something wrong. Hey, I'm going to take you to court if you can't substantiate claims wherein you said that I did X, Y, or Z. So it's okay for you to do that. It's okay for you to go out and call a person a P to the E to the D to the O. But if someone did that online to you, you would want to take them to court. You see the hypocrisy in these standards. You also see the hypocrisy in standards where this stuff keeps coming up at conventions, where these people push this, and they're still talking about it. Again, started in January, and they're still trying to burn someone's reputation and their livelihood down. So this stuff, yeah, it's just getting started, but hopefully, when we see the end of it, when we actually see justice prevail, yeah, we'll actually see some type of change in Twitter culture. Because there is a difference in being able to go out and call someone an idiot or a moron and attach the world's worst stigma right now, being a predator or being a P to the E to the D to the O to them, and do so with impunity. But anyhow, you tell me what you think about all of this stuff. So again, if you like this kind of content, make sure you're subbed, make sure that you hit that bell for daily notification, like videos you like, leave comments because it helps out with the algorithm, and if you want to go further, you're under no obligation to do so, but if you want to help out the channel, there are links in the description, PayPal, Patreon, and this, The Case of the Littlest Umbrella. Now this is our first foray into comic books. It's myself, Kyung Lee, and Peter Gilmore. We have 2 comic books attached to this, but one message that when people, they try to force you out as consumers, when they tell you that you are not someone that matters, well, you go out and you create alternative industry. That's what we are looking at these days in everything, be it gaming, be it comic books, be it anime. We're having to create alternative venues because the ones that are out there, well, they treat people just like we're seeing here, or sometimes, if you can imagine it, even worse. And you know, when you're a consumer and you're being forgotten there, when you're giving money to people for their endeavors, for escapism, and they do this kind of stuff, yeah, sometimes you need to speak up and challenge that. So leave comments, pro or con. You can leave anything that you want, really. And remember, at the end of this, while these people forget you, you're the person or you're the people that go and empower their endeavors. So go and empower people that appreciate you. I appreciate you. Many other people out there do. So I want to end this by saying thank you. You're appreciated. We'll do this again very soon. Thanks.